All right, what's going on, everybody? Today is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Bitcoin block height 918192. Transaction fees 1 sat per VByte across the board. Low, medium, and high priority. Just under 68,000 unconfirmed transactions in this mempool. Bitcoin USD price 121,000, 122,000 US pieces of paper. We dropped a little bit from yesterday's all-time high. No, that was 2 days ago. So yesterday's all-time high was 124,000, or yesterday's 24-hour high was 124,099. The all-time high, which was a new all-time high, I think we reached it like 2 days ago. It went up to 126,296 US pieces of paper. And the 24-hour low is 120,636. $1 gets you 819 Satoshis. So I was just watching a video about Bitcoin lending and stuff. Everyone's going to get ripped, dude. Everyone is going to get ripped. There's this new thing, I guess, out there about non-custodial and collaborative custody. It's not that new, but it's somewhat new. It's getting the attention of people. They think they can have their cake and eat it too with these Bitcoin loans. You give up your Bitcoin and you get fiat loans, you get stable coins. We're just all losing the plot, man. We're all missing the value of Bitcoin, and that is no middleman. Just go read the white paper. Money historically has required the trust of other humans, the trust of a middle entity. And history is full of breaches of that trust. So Bitcoin was created. There's no middleman. You don't trust anyone. You hold it yourself in self-custody. But we just love it, man. We love it. We just love things that are too good to be true. We just can't help ourselves. We even got people like Simon Dixon, smart dude. He's out there lending his Bitcoin, getting rugged by Celsius. And there's always going to be new flavors and new advancements, where we can just have our cake and eat it too. We can just have this fiat. But the thing that people don't understand is that the whole system is changing. We listen to Jeff Booth, we praise Jeff Booth, and we read his books. Most people have read his book, The Price of Tomorrow. If you haven't read it, you got to read it. And we're like, yeah, this all makes sense. And then we just go back right into the fiat system and we try to jam Bitcoin into that system. We don't realize that they're two opposite systems that are incongruent. They don't fit. But I guess that's just human nature, where we have to fit these two systems together. We have to jam it in. Henry Ford said, if I asked the people what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses. And that's just what we do. We want the current situation better. We can't view a totally new situation. So right now, the monetary system is we borrow from the future. We lend. Money is debt, and we take out these loans. We create this debt out of nothing, and we pay it back with interest. And and then we play this game about, the US government is 30 trillion in debt, 20 trillion in debt. Who cares what it is? Doesn't matter. And we pretend like, we have to balance the budget and balance the debt and all this stuff without realizing that money is debt. If all the debt was paid back, there would be no money. That's crazy, right? It's hard to even totally understand. I've been in this game for a few years now, and I'm still trying to understand this stuff. That's why I make these videos. It helps me talk through it and understand it. Teaching is learning, believe it or not. So we're in that debt-based system and we're just trying to jam Bitcoin into it. Like, oh, well, maybe I could loan my Bitcoin to this central entity. Nah, that sucks. We all got rugged. All right, well, maybe we can make some smart contract or some multi-sig where the user holds one key and this company A holds another key and then company B holds the third key. Yeah, there we go. 2 or 3 multi-sig, you know? Well, that doesn't mean anything, you know? Who cares? You got one key, big whoop. You ain't gonna do nothing with it. 2 other people got another key. If they come together, they'll steal your Bitcoin. Either way, you don't have your Bitcoin, you know? If you had your Bitcoin, then you wouldn't be getting a loan. And why do these people give you a loan in the first place? What's in it for them? Are they just so gracious and nice? They're like, hey, we don't even hold your Bitcoin, but if you lock it up in this scheme, we'll give you fiat. You know, where's that fiat come from? Where's the Bitcoin go? Who benefits? You know, we have to look at the other side of all these situations and determine why are they doing it, you know? Because why aren't you doing it then? What you earn, you go to work, you get a paycheck. Why aren't you going out and giving your fiat away to people to lock their Bitcoin up in 2 or 3 multi-sig, you know? What's in it for you? If it's a great business, you would do it. And obviously it is a freaking great business. It must be because people are doing it. You know, it takes a lot more than just the will to create a business. It's a lot of work, right? So we're not doing it because we're lazy. Maybe we don't know how to do it. It takes a lot of people involved, a lot of moving parts and things. But obviously these companies are doing it for a reason, you know? They're not just going through and setting up all this infrastructure and creating these things and taking on all this risk. And who knows what else they're taking on by offering fiat. Where did they get the fiat from? You know, are they taking out a loan and then giving you a loan on their behalf? Right? These are companies. They don't have legal authority to create fiat currency like the Federal Reserve. So you just got to think about all these things. You know, in the end, you're screwed. You think you're getting a deal, but you ain't getting a deal. You're the product. You're giving up your freaking Bitcoin for that stuff. But anyway, the whole thing about money is debt, you know, that's the system now. We borrow the debt from the future. We pay it back over time. The money is worth less over time. Bitcoin's the exact opposite. Money is worth more over time. And the way this economy works is you start out with nothing. You don't have shit. No, you can't get a fucking house. You got to fucking graduate school, do whatever the fuck you got to do. Work a fucking job. Dude, what the fuck? Get a job. Save your money. You got to earn, save, build that shit the fuck up. Then you get a fucking house. You don't borrow shit. You ain't got shit. Your money value goes up over time, dumbass. That's the way Bitcoin works. So why the fuck are we trying to jam it into this opposite system where money goes down over time? We're trading it for fiat. I understand, you know, we all have bills and we want shit to be paid. So we're like, I want to be fiat rich. You know, everybody accepts fiat for these $1 million houses. I want to buy a fucking house, a car, all these luxury goods. Everyone's fucking taking fiat for it. So if I get fiat, I could buy my dreams, my desires, the things I want. It makes total sense. Just don't get fucked up. Just don't go crazy into it, because there will be a tipping point. You know, once most people or enough people load up on that Bitcoin scale, boom, that scale is going to drop. And then it's fucked, you know, gradually, then suddenly, then you're fucked. Then the fiat, enough people know that it ain't worth shit. You ain't never getting that Bitcoin back. Why the hell would they? You know, the world works on incentives. Why would they give you your Bitcoin back? That Bitcoin's valuable as shit. They'll just keep rolling over your debt and give you fiat, right? Here's more fiat, bro. Are you happy? Here's a wheelbarrow full of fiat. So you're playing a dangerous game. And my opinion would be just sell your fucking Bitcoin, dude. Just sell it. You're giving up your fucking keys anyway when you gotta do this stupid ass collaborative custody. Wow, you're holding one key. Big fucking whoop. Can you do anything with it? No, you can't. You're giving up your keys anyway. You just have a promise to pay. You hope. You're holding on hope that you can have your cake and eat it too. And it might work out for some people. Just like altcoins and scams, that all works out for some people too. But most people lose. And I think the same thing will happen with this non-custodial collaborative custody bullshit, popular shit that's going on right now. Bitcoin totally flipped the script. The new game is you start out with nothing. You come out of your mama's womb. Boom. You're a fucking baby. You grow up. You do all that shit. You get a job. You earn. You save. You spend less than you fucking make. Save that shit. Over time, you save more. You accumulate more Bitcoin. and the value of that Bitcoin goes up. After a few years, you could buy something like a house or something, right? Then you start shaving off, you start spending your Bitcoin. That's the new system. You work, you earn, you save, you consume. It's the total opposite of the current system where you consume, then you work and pay it back. And if you don't, you just bankrupt and default. Fuck it, right? It's free money anyway. So that's the biggest thing that people have to understand. It's the opposite. So Bitcoin loans are dumb as shit. All right, let's take a look at Spaces protocol here. 1.53 total Bitcoin burned. People are burning Bitcoin for these domain names, for these Bitcoin names, for these IDs. That's another thing, digital IDs. You ain't gonna do it? Shit, good luck. You are gonna fucking do it. Better have a fucking way. And luckily, we have a way with Bitcoin. Anybody that has Social Security, a pension, a paycheck, anything relying on the system, stocks, bonds, whatever, anything, Bitcoin ETFs, shit, everything. If you don't have self-custody, you're going to be required to have a digital ID. And if you don't, you ain't going to get your shit. Someone else has control of your money. That's the whole invention of Bitcoin. You yourself personally can control your money. That's amazing. That's the invention. That's it. So anyway, we got almost 10,000 bids here. It's definitely ramping up. People are starting to see the value here. These are just human readable Bitcoin wallet addresses. You know, totally permissionless, open source. Look it up if you want. Here we got some transfers. We got 3,200 rollouts. Bunch of names here can be claimed. I got to join a meeting, so I got to wrap this up. All going on here. Recent events. We got some transfers and a bid. We got one upcoming rollout made. Let's take a look at the marketplace here. Spaces.market. This is where you can buy and sell peer-to-peer. And I want to set up a website like this too. So we got AM, Eclipse, Pumpkin, Victory, EJ, Give, Super 2, and IW. All right, I got to roll out. Thank y'all for watching.